What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Copy Podcast and Pod and a Pint, episode 4 of season 2. We are back in Shenanigans once again. Mick Moran joined by Ste Plunkett this time. We're in the cosy corner. Ste, how are you liking it?
Yeah,
it's
it's cool in here, mate. I didn't even know this place existed until you said we're doing it there. But if you ever want a nice little Irish pub with a good pint of Guinness, this is the place to come, eh?
Well, you're on somebody else. Give you a little cheers there, lad.
Been a while.
What?
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years since we did something together.
It has. It's been a while. Actually.
Might be more than that.
We've done a few bits over like StreamYard or whatever, but yeah, first one in person. It's probably just the first one together in person ever, isn't it? Probably
outside
just
like,
me and you.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. All good.
Plenty more where that came from. How's things anyway? I mean,
sound, mate. Yeah. Enjoying what we're doing. My life's great, personally speaking.
Yeah.
Football's good, isn't it? You can't not be good. 9 points out of 9, sitting top of it, getting easy, this, isn't it? So I'm great, mate. You well?
Can't complain. Yeah, just doing these now and again. Talking about footy, having pints. That's it. It's the best things you can do, really. So just thought I'd mesh them into one and crack on. But as we always do, opening question. So just a bit of fun before we get stuck into Arsenal, Isak, Burnley, etc. So I had a few different questions this week, but narrowed it down to this one. So I mean, this could run and run in terms of like how many we could pick. But if you could eliminate one word from the English language, what would it be and why?
Shame you can't give me 2 because it would be combined 11.
I know. Give me a top 3 then.
So if I could have 2, combined 11 would be top. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. Just did it myself.
I mean, yeah. It's a scout thing.
I'd absolutely kill you if I took out your vocabulary. There's 3 for you. We'll have combined 11 and M from me. So what are you thinking?
See, mine straight away. I was on the train on the way in, and I was like, they're all Twitter stuff. So I can't think of anything that annoys me that much.
Do you block words on Twitter? Because I don't.
I do now. Yeah. Like play ball or talk ball. You know, all those like Americanisms that have kind of infiltrated.
I can't be arsed blocking them,
to
be honest with you.
Yeah, some people like the way it comes up clutch, you know, all those type of words. People like that. And I get how it applies,
shout, clutch.
But it's not for me. It's really not for me. It's all those type of words that I see it and I just want to be like, please don't. Do you know what I mean? It's one just please don't do that. I mean, that's quick. That was quicker than we expected. But yeah, let us know yours in the comments. I mean, you could do a whole show on that in itself.
You couldn't you?
I'm starting to what's that now.
Ruined you, lad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's in my head now. Start of the season so far. Let's talk about that a little bit because, like you mentioned, three wins out of 3, 9 points out of 9. Beating Arsenal last week was. In the manner that we did, was just boss to see. I just thought, especially going into it, seeing their kind of, maybe not cockiness, but like they were quite assured that they were going to get something out of that game. And going into it, maybe we probably felt like maybe a little bit nervous. I don't know if that's the right word in terms of how we played in the first 2 games. Yeah. What would happen in this game coming up against them? We've got a good side, obviously missing Saka and stuff, but the way that we went into it, it wasn't the best game by any means, but being in there for when that free kick flew in the top corner, the let-off was just absolutely incredible, and it was not a marker, so to speak, but a nice little backdrop for the start of the season, where
a little reminder of who we are and what we are, champions.
Exactly.
I think to answer your question, start of the season, we're obviously going to change the way we play. I think the full-backs coming in, we've got different types of full-backs than we've had before. It definitely suits a double pivot, but we haven't been able to call on McAllister because he's had a really, really long pre-season. Obviously, there was something a bit more than we understood at the back end of last year because he had a long time to recover from that. Yeah. I think there you go again. I think you'd be right in the start of the season we weren't comfortable. It looked a bit missed, didn't it? There was something missing from our game. We shifted too many chances to be 2-0 up against Newcastle and seemingly coasting, and then suddenly before you know it, it's 2-2, and you've got all the backdrop of the Isak stuff going on, and then suddenly the Rio comes on and wins it for us. You know, limbs and all Incredible. That stuff in the away end, and amazing. But they're not games that if you sit down as a coaching staff and as a manager, you're going to say, that's really what we wanted, because there's glaring problems in the squad. Yeah. I was really interested to see people's perceptions at half-time in the Arsenal game, where they thought, what a terrible game of football that is. It really wasn't. It was exactly what we needed, because Arsenal can write to you a week before and tell you what they're going to do, and they'll turn up and do it. Yeah. And it's so predictable. but it's also so effective and so good. You've either got to be really good to stop it, or they just steamroll you and run over the top of you. So for us to get all of our tactics right and come out of that first half, I think they had one shot on target, which was a Madueke from a corner that Alisson palmed away, and then he belted one in the stands, didn't he, afterwards? So from that point of view, for me, that was the defensive performance we'd been crying out for. Because if you and I had done this after the first game, we'd be sitting here going, we're really worried about the way we're shipping chances. So yes, we still gave them a lot of ball, and I thought it was a really important game for Kerkez, because I did think before the game there's a possibility he misses out, because we need him to stand up, he needs to stop going to ground so much. So from that perspective, Mick, half time I'm looking at it thinking, that's not what Twitter thinks it is. That's a really, really good defensive performance. And I know we're only 3 games into the season, and it sounds mad to say, or 2.5, it sounds mad to say it, but we were absolutely needing that. We needed to see that we can do that, and it's no coincidence that when both Virgin and Canate turn up together, we're a different kettle of fish, aren't we?
We are, and it's hard when one centre-half's turn up for the first 2 games, isn't it? And you're having Virgil to pluck out like 10 out of 10 performances to kind of bail you out in a way. But yeah, like you said, Ibu turned up, Kerkez turned up, especially to, I mean, Madueke is rapid, isn't he? You can only see like there's a couple of times balls over the top, and the pace in behind is, as a Saka understudy, it's pretty. I mean, it's not bad, is it?
I think it's quicker than Saka.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely a shout out for Szoboszlai, who for 2 games at right back has been.
He gets his own special mention.
Got a theory with him that he might end up doing a bit more of that, and we might see Frimpong take the pressure off Salah as opposed to take the pressure off Bradley.
It's a good shout.
So it could be that it's a Frimpong Salah down the right hand side over the season, 60-30 East Cup games we don't need to play in. Let's hope we get to dead rubbers in Europe where we can play other players and give lads rests. So it could be that Frimpong plays in a more advanced role, and then Szoboszlai, because you cannot take a player that is as good as that in that position out of your team. You can't. It matched Martinelli for pace, was bigger than him, more physical than him, stronger than him, won every single duel against him, and goes and bags the winner. You can't take that lad out of that position, can you?
And same with Newcastle against Barnes, who is no slouch by any stretch either. They thought he'd done really well.
Exactly.
An
outball for both teams completely negated by the fact that he's as quick as anyone, he's stronger than most of them, and his recoveries are absolutely fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah, and in terms of, I mean, he's quicker, stronger, and faster than Trent was, but that ability in terms of being able to come inside, being able to spray the 60-yarders, left foot, right foot, maybe not as good in Trent in that regard, but definitely not far off in terms of how we can hit a ball 60 yards.
We're not one-dimensional anymore. So
exactly.
So for years with Trent, it was like, right, why wouldn't you give him the ball and let him do what he does? Because he was so good at it. And then Klopp actually came out, and for all those people that still bang on about this, and said, we do not hold him responsible for goals we concede down the right-hand side. His dynamic in the team just isn't that. So stop saying it. Here we are. He's been gone 4 months, and we still hear the same story, don't we? So in regards to that, you're right. I think we're not so one-dimensional. I think from a system point of view, for what he wants to do, Slot that is, I think Slot didn't see in Trent what Klopp saw in Trent. Wasn't prepared to give him the sort of licence to be the guy that does everything, and the rest of the team feeds off that. And when, like the Man United game, by his own admittance, his head had gone because he had serious conversations with Madrid at that stage. You can't have the guy that is your go-to for everything and has been for 6 or 7 years turn up and put in a performance like that. So I think without him, we've got more balance. I'm not knocking what he did because he's a fantastic footballer, but in terms of when we don't have the ball, it's better. And it's better 100%. With either Bradley, either Frimpong, or either Szoboszlai, because when you tell a guy for 6 years don't worry about defending, what's he going to do? He's going to stop worrying about defending, isn't he? So not knocking him because he was an amazing footballer for us, but in terms of what we need to do as a team, and we are very transition based, and it's all very systemic with Slot. I actually think we're in a stronger position with lads that can do the hard work going back towards your goal as well.
Definitely. Well, I think we saw that in the first game. Obviously, Frimpong got injured, but there was a few moments where the left wing is running, and all before you know it, Kanate's about to go over, and he sees Frimpong come over and goes, "Oh, this is new.
Not used to this.
You usually got for no one else is here, just me on my bill, having to try and bail you out." But no, I mean, it's a good point in terms of going forward. But if he could be I mean, probably in his own admission, he'd want to go back into the centre of midfield because he obviously probably prefers to play in there. But in terms of having Bradley just come back from injury, he's played a couple of games for Northern Ireland over this break. Yeah. Frimpong's been injured. It might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise that we needed him to go in there to see if he could do it, if you get what I mean. Yeah. He's proved that he can do it. But his ability on the ball, like I said, all that stuff that we need in that area, and then to near the end of the game, and he just loads of people over that free kick, and you could just see him mushing away, going, "Nah, lads, this is mine." And to have the balls basically to just knock it top corner. Didn't even look like it's like Gerrard used to do. It looked like he didn't even put any effort into that. He just
timing,
lazily hit his foot at it and it flies in.
They hit the ball so hard, they don't appear to try, do they? And it's all about timing. It was a fantastic strike. Whether you win in any game, absolutely. And as you say, they let off in the ground. I mean, I didn't go to the game. Try and get a ticket for that these days. You could feel it. As a Liverpool fan, you kind of know that amazing what a strike that was, and we've been crying out for that. I mean, people post that free kick from Hungary every time there's an international one, don't they?
When he was like 12.
He scored another goal, like 6 years ago. He's got so much versatility, and usually versatility works against you, and I'll caveat that by saying Cody Gakpo's versatility under Jurgen Klopp worked against him because we saw him left wing, we saw him number 9. We actually saw him playing as an 8 in the middle of the park. It just didn't work. But that's kudos to him because he can do all of those things to a point. But with Szoboszlai, I think he would like to be what he was last season, which is the most advanced centre midfielder. And they often ask the question of the space between the right back and the right centre back, and allowed Mo Salah to play in the spaces he created. I think the Florian Wirtz situation changes that dynamic very slightly. So, listen, when you can do what you can do all over the pitch, it has to be one of the first team names on the team sheet at the moment. It just has to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, to your point a little bit before about the combined 11s, I saw like a load of like predicted 11s going forward. You don't see very many Dom Szoboszlais in those predicted 11s going forward, which is, if you watch Liverpool, you know he's integral to pretty much everything we do in terms of if you want someone boss in the middle of the park who can boss it, score boss goals, you need them. If you're going away to a big side and you need an 8 or a 10 to do the running of 2 people, you need him. You need him in so many scenarios, and that's why that's the biggest compliment you can pay him, really.
He's making himself pivotal to anything that we do, no matter what system we play, no matter who, like you say, no matter who we play against, home against the side that we should be brushing aside, away at Newcastle, and you know you're going to come under a bit. Yeah. That Newcastle game was particularly difficult because of the media your Luke Edwardses and all those guys had built it up to be something that it wasn't. And I think for an hour Newcastle played the situation rather than the game.
Definitely.
And then suddenly realised this is a game of football, not a media frenzy. Yeah. And then they got themselves back into we helped them, but they got themselves back into the game. So I think, you know, he's a off the shelf thing, break glass for anything you want to do. Yeah. Anything you need him to do inside, genuinely can do it. That's why there's comparisons with him and Gerrard. Yeah, definitely. Massively agree with that. And and you just mentioned Newcastle there in terms of what it was in terms of the game, but what it was in terms of the Isak thing. That was kind of the background noise to that, and that has now finally came to an end in terms of we've got the right result. Alexander Isak is a Liverpool player. I just wanted to say that out loud because it just sounds great. Say it again.
Alexander Isak's Liverpool. It just sounds lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And you see all these clips, like there's people posting stuff on like Twitter and stuff. Good videos, to be fair, like all the good stuff he's done against Liverpool. And you're like, you don't sign someone just because. I mean, we did with Darwin Núñez. To be fair, you sign someone because they do well against you, but he can do that against any team in world football. He's along with Haaland in terms of Haaland's a different striker, but in terms of lethal in front of goal, but also running channels, tall, strong, quick. If you could make a striker in a lab, similar I'd say in terms of Van Dijk, if you could make a striker in a lab who can tick 95% of the boxes that you want to be ticked, Alexander Isak would probably be showing up as the result.
I don't know about you, but when I think of him, I think about that touch and then the bang against us at St James's Park, and Alisson doesn't even see it, mate. And
Van Dijk can't even get over.
No, and that's testament to what Isak is, and I think it leads nicely into that topic. I'd kind of heard that it was happening, and I never heard it wasn't. So anyone that spoke to me sort of said, "What do you think?" I'm not in the know, but people would say, "What do you think?" I was like, Well, I think we'll go right to the last minute, and I think if the doors open that much, we'll have a foot in it and we'll try and do something.
Yeah.
But in terms of him, there's a lot of conversation at the moment about, is it a bit harsh on Ekitike because you brought in a number 9 to play, and then you brought in another number 9 to play who's a little bit better. It's not a little bit better, and he's the finished article. We don't know what Ekitike is going to be. The world football knows what Alexander Isak is. All the things you've just said, he can drop in deep, he can pick the ball up, he can play people in, he can play off the shoulder, he can drift out left, and that's where this comparison to Thierry Henry comes in, in that he seems to glide. He's just really, really great to watch. Fit him in what we're doing. I don't think we see him till October because he's not had a pre-season. And I know he's been away with international duty and stuff, but we're not in a rush because Ekitike can pick up the slack. You know, I was thinking about it on the way over because I knew this would come up in conversation. And whilst it seems a bit harsh on Ekitike, God for if that tragedy we had with Diogo Jota hadn't happened, we'd still have on his day a world-class centre forward that can't get in the team. So there's 70 games to play, potentially as many as 70 games to play in the season. You can't ask one man to do it. You couldn't ask Ekitike to do it. You couldn't ask Isak to do it. So for me, they'll share. I see a lot of people saying dream teams and Gakpo's not on the team sheet. I'm thinking, what are you going on about? He's clearly slots man. He's Dutch. He's just been given a new contract. He never lets us down. His output's really, really good. Again, everybody knows what he's going to do, but they can't stop him because of the physicality. 6'4", strong, quick, got a great strike on him. I don't see Ekitike taking Gakpo's shirt anytime soon. I think down that side you could do that, but you've got Rio as well, and you've got Gakpo. I think it's Gakpo's shirt, personally speaking.
Definitely.
And I think after an hour when you're 3-0 up, you just bring Isak off and put Ekitike on. You don't sign for Liverpool Football Club on the premise that you're my man and you're going to play every game all season, and I mean every minute of every game all season, because in the summer you're going to tell me ahead of a World Cup you're too tired to play. So what we'll do is we'll bring in another lad who's the finished article. Imagine learning off the attributes that Isak has got. Ekitike is only going to get better watching that at training. He's your man. Isak is your man. Isak is if you're going to sign 2 forwards in world football today, you sign Isak or you sign Erling Haaland. Well, Erling Haaland was never available and wouldn't fit into what we do anyway. But Isak is the finished article. He's the sort of creme de la creme when it comes to forwards, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the hero now, isn't he? And Ekitike as well. But I think Isak's nearly 26 soon, isn't he? Next month, I think. And Isak's Ekitike is 22, is he? 23. So he's got a couple of years on him. So I mean, in terms of what Ekitike's done so far, I think he's exceeded all of our expectations in terms of how he's came in and adapted to how we're playing. I think he's probably been the standout new signing for us so far in terms of games. And let's
be honest, rightly or wrongly, Darwin got minutes when we didn't always know what he was going to do. But he got plenty of game time. And I think the deeper we go into competitions and the better we are, and we're looking good at the moment without really excelling. And when all those things click into place, someone's going to get an absolute pasting, by the way. And when Florian Wirtz really second half, some of his footwork is absolutely incredible. It reminded me of Coutinho, but just a little bit quicker to move after the footwork, just to change direction. So really, really pleased to see him. Just going off on a tangent a little bit. Pleased to see. But can you imagine him playing slightly further up the pitch, loading the gun for Isak? It's frightening.
It's stuff of dreams, isn't it? It's literally like you look at the 11, like what we've got this season. I mean, there's been a lot of turnover. Obviously, like you mentioned, the Jota stuff. That is obviously absolutely horrific, and no one, not even in football terms, like anyone in the world you shouldn't be losing a fella that, what was he, 28 years old, do you know what I mean? No one should be losing, but to add that into the microcosm that is footy, and those lads have been bonding with him for God knows how many years, and you've got to try and factor that into how they're feeling. We saw the Salah output of emotion, in one of the previous games, and that was obviously very, very somber, and was nice to see in a weird way, because you want to see that synchronisation between fans and star player have their moments.
I mean, we've got that in abundance anyway, but for him to come and stand in front and be crying, basically he was crying, and he's a very emotional man, and when you think about it, and we won't sort of spend too much time on this because it's quite sad to talk about it, isn't it? But it has its place. They spend weeks, months away with these guys, and they become like brothers. and then you've got to go to work one day and he's not there. And he's not there because he's somewhere else and you can give him a call and say how you're getting on. He's just not there.
Yeah.
So it's really, really difficult. It took me weeks to process it, and you let them into your house, don't you? Your games you can't go to, you let them into your living room and you love them, and then you don't realise until something like that occurs just how much it was bizarre. It was absolutely so hard to process. And it'll be in our hearts and minds forever, won't he? But
massively. Well, I mean, the whole retiring in his number and stuff is just it's just absolutely class from the club, and I mean, I had no expectations going into the season after that, but the fact that we started the season as we have, obviously, I think that type of stuff has affected probably a Mo Salah performances as well, in terms of him maybe not being quite at the races. But if we can go and do one thing and win the Premier League for him, that would just be. I mean, I can't wait for the end of the season. If that happens, it's going to be one of them where you celebrate and crying your eyes out at the same time.
Yeah, it kind of be number 21 for 20, wouldn't it? And that's the snap line you could see coming out, couldn't you? It is. We will never forget, and we will indoctrinate him into the spirit of the club forever. And we've got a couple of good lads that are going to come in and help do that in the two centre forwards we were speaking about. One that's your finished article and is good to go, plug and play. But, you're going to turn up at Anfield one day and you're just going to draw gasps of disbelief for the things he can do. Yeah. And then the other one is a project, and we'll see where he can get to. And he seems okay with it, and looking good. It
is massively. And we went out to Burnley a little bit then, and a chance to continue we mentioned before, the perfect start of the season. 3 wins out of 3, 9 points out of 9. In terms of them, 2 losses and a win so far for them. But one of the losses was it a last minute penalty against the Manx, weren't it? Which is a bit grim. But I mean, all the good stuff we've just been talking about in terms of, obviously Isak's not going to play yet because he's not at the pre-season, whatever, but if he can be on the bench maybe, just to give him the experience of being within the squad and whatever. Obviously we've got Everton coming up, and you probably don't expect him to start there either, but just building up that progression for him. But another chance for Ekitike, like we said there, the chance for him to start to solidify that second half performance versus Arsenal, where I thought he had a bit of swagger and a bit more control over the game. But I'm just excited to get rid of international footy again and just watch the Reds again. That's it, isn't it?
Typical Liverpool fans who hate international football. I think my only concern would be that, and you see this with all the promoted sides, and I hate the word, it's a free hit. I hate that saying. There's another one for the opening question. But the fact remains that they're not anticipating to get anything from this game. The world doesn't think they get anything from this game, and that makes them dangerous because it is a free hit. Even though we don't like the terminology, it is. They can go there. They were champions. When the league fixtures came out, the first thing their fans do is, when have we got Liverpool? That's always happens, whether we're champions or not, but even more so now. Yeah. So it makes them dangerous in the regard they've absolutely nothing to lose on the day. All the expectation, all the pressure, and this is why teams don't always retain titles. All that pressure and expectation sits squarely on Liverpool's shoulders. Now I think we're probably better under Slot in terms of, we don't win games via emotion, we win games via passages of play and situational things. And that's not knocking anybody that was involved with Klopp, because that's a journey that you and I will live and relish forever. Yeah. I think we're better suited to dealing with those things now. I think we've got a better...
More pragmatic, isn't it, and tactical.
Yeah, it's not done by emotion. Yeah. There's only so many times you can bang your chest and go to the well and win a game of football on the fact that Klopp's animated on the touchline, so we need to react to that, and it was great. And that guy is a Liverpool legend forever. We never find another one like that. We're just different now, and I think in that regard, being different is that we will process and deal with the occasions differently and better. Yeah. You wouldn't have got the first half performance against Arsenal that you got from us under Slot, because it just would have been different. Yeah. And they might have scored because it would have been a little bit more. His key word was brave. Let's be brave. Let's be brave. I don't think that is Slot's key word. I think Slot's key word is let's be controlled as opposed to brave. So I think Burnley are dangerous in the regard that they don't have anything to lose. If they don't get 3 points, everyone wakes up on Sunday morning and goes, so what? Doesn't matter. It's what we expected. Yeah. So they can roll their sleeves up. They can have a party with their fans back in the Premier League, home game. The champions are Liverpool. It's what those teams aspire to. It's what the whole last 12 months has been about for Burnley to get to that stage. They're not good enough necessarily on paper to cause us a problem, but euphoria is a different thing to form, isn't it? And the euphoria of being involved in a Premier League game with Liverpool at their ground, We'll raise the stakes a little bit in terms of what their fans do, in terms of what he does in the changing room with the players before. Because if Parker can't motivate players to go out and play against Liverpool, it shouldn't be in the game. Yeah. It shouldn't have anything to do with football. So that's the danger for us, Mick. That's where I think if there is something, it'll be that this is our moment. This is where the sun shines on a dog's arse once in its life type of thing. This is it. This is the game. This is the one where we go and we give a good account of ourselves, and we do it for all those people that turn up every week and watch us. That's what I'd be saying. If I was a manager, I'd be playing on that. So I think that makes them dangerous, and we'll have other games against Leeds and Sunderland that will be equally as dangerous because they don't have anything to lose. But you don't win games on paper. But if you do look at paper, you look at what we've got and what they've got, and the fact that they'll draw a lot of positives from losing in the last minute and a questionable penalty against Man United because they competed. And that's what all you could ever ask for them to do this season is compete. Their last effort under Company was a bit of a shit show, wasn't it? To be honest with you. So I think they're dangerous, but it's the game you want realistically to come back from an international fixture and say, we've got a game that's very winnable. If we do what we do and we turn up, then that's it. Then we should win the game.
Exactly. I think it's something that I always go back to the first game last season where Ipswich, and again I think if it was under Klopp it would have maybe went a little bit differently, but the tactical switches that we've seen even as recent as the Arsenal game where we were saying before that their first half they were having a bit more space, they were Rice was picking up pockets and they were able to get around the press. And obviously it's a different game against Burnley, but enabling those switches in game that I think Slot's the best in the world at in terms of knowing what to switch and how to switch it, when to do the full press, when not to, all those type of things that he's the best at. I think I go into these games a bit more confident knowing that we're not playing on emotion and that the crowd might be all guns a-blazing and the players might be as well, and similar to what Newcastle was, but our players on the field will be level-headed and know that we've got enough to win this game. And we don't want to take the emotion out of footy because that footy is emotion.
Yeah,
that's what it is. But you want to go into certain games away to teams like this and go, yeah, we're champions, lads. Like, step aside. Do you know what I mean? Like, just put them to the sword in terms of just get a goal early doors and just kind of kill the spirit.
And that's the mentality. You've just said it there. You hit the nail on the head there, Mick. We're champions, and we've got to go to every game and say we're champions. We've got to play like champions. We've got to behave like champions. We've got to have the mentality of champions. We've got the mentality of champions in the gaffer. You can clearly see that. Yeah. We've also got the mentality of champions in the best centre-back Premier League's ever seen. You know, again, thinking about it in the car on the way over, this question came up, who's Liverpool's most influential signing ever? And it's him. Yeah. It's Van Dijk. So on the pitch, just dead calm, got it. You know, we don't sing the song for nothing. So I think we go there with places like that, and when things get difficult and the teams build up a little bit of a head of steam, those are your guys you want. Just to slow it all down, calm it down. Yeah. Let's run the ball across the back four for the next 5 minutes, take the sting out of the game, take the pressure out of the situation. I just think now we're calculated is probably a word I'd use rather than sort of fly by the seat of your pants. I'd never accuse Liverpool ever of being maybe a little bit under Brendan Rodgers at time. You play what unfolds in front of you, and you win a game with the moments, because that's never really been us. Yeah, it's like reactive. But it is more, and I think the best example I can give you is when Arteta fell out with us, and the ground erupted, and the players just transcended itself onto the pitch. Boss. I don't think we see that so much. I don't think this team relies on the crowd as much as a Klopp team did, and that's because of the way that they're set up by the manager, and that's the way that we are. And I think that plays itself into someone like Virgil van Dijk's hands, because guy's as cool as they come, isn't he? Yeah. So I think we're better suited to deal with more difficult situations. And again, there will always be people that say, you just sat there and had a go at Klopp, and we didn't. That was a roller coaster ride that was absolutely magnificent, but I just think we're more controlled now. I think that will help you retain a title than relying on blood and guts and thunder and all that stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. I think most people watching this would agree that we're not the same as what we were, but tonight it took a bit of a while to get used to the change, but if last season's anything to go by, the change was you win the Premier League. So you're not embracing that, then what are you doing basically? We talked about a lot of players there, like Szoboszlai and whatever, and let's talk a little bit about like what Slot might do in this game in terms of starting 11s, because like I mentioned before, Bradley think he played 70 odd minutes the first game. He played 90 in the second game against Germany, where Florian Wirtz did score an absolutely pearl of a free kick, by the way, absolutely class. So he's got a few more minutes under his belt, which we need. Slot did say a few weeks back that Frimpong will return after the international break as well, but whether this one's too early for that, who knows. But I mean, we've probably already answered this question in terms of Szoboszlai. If the team's winning and he's doing well in that position, you can't really take him out of that position, can you?
No, you can't, and because you've got Gravenberch and you've got McAllister. The only way McAllister's going to get back to being the McAllister that we watched literally single-handedly 2 seasons ago take our title challenge to the degree it went to have him back in the side and get it. He's going to need minutes. He's going to have to play. You know, I think we're quite lucky. I see us only ever playing with a double pivot because we are that 4-2-3-1 now. That because we've got the personnel to be that team. Yeah. I think there's 4 lads who can play in the middle of the park: Szoboszlai, Jones, Gravenberch and McAllister. I think your go-to is McAllister and Gravenberch because McAllister and Caicedo at Brighton were a brilliant double pivot. Whether they're our team or not, they were. Okay, and he was half of that, and he contributed more than his fair share. So I think that provides you with your double pivot. I think at 60 minutes, if you think Wirtz needs a rest, you can go to Szoboszlai, you can go to Jones. But then the other question, and we spoke about it earlier in this pod, is that you can't leave Szoboszlai out at the moment. So if he's the best right back option we've got at the moment, we've got 6 right back options. It's mental. We've gone from like 1 to 6. It's crazy. You can't take him out. You can't change it. What you can do after an hour, if you're 2 or 3 up, is you can bring Wirtz off. You can push Szoboszlai up into that more advanced field because we know he's got 90 minutes in the tank, and you can bring a Bradley on. Yeah. The Szoboszlai thing makes Bradley's life a little bit more difficult now because he's done so well there. You wouldn't, if you were manager, would you change it?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I think going into the Newcastle game, I thought if Bradley's available, I thought he'd put Bradley in. To be honest, I thought he maybe would have thought, oh, it was Szoboszlai's done well there, but if now we've got a right back in there available, I thought he might take him out and just put Szoboszlai back into the middle of the park. But what do I know? I'm not a tactical genius, you know what I mean?
It's options, isn't it? It's loads of variables that we can use, and that's really nice to have, that you've got 5 or 6 lads that can go in there and do your job at right back. You've got 5 or 6 lads you can throw through your midfield. We've got 2 or 3 options through the middle. Salah's even played through the middle in the past, so you could say 4. You know, so this idea of having more cover in other areas. When you now see the people, and I do like these, that put our squad strength in terms of the team, chart, and they'll have like Van Dijk, and under Van Dijk they'll have like Gomez, and then they'll have like on the other side they'll have like Konate, and they'll have someone else under him, and then there's 3 under the right back and 3 under the left back, and until recently, until Tsimikas went to Roma, that was the case. But that depth is what's been missing, and it's weird, isn't it? Because we haven't even spoke about transfer window, but under Klopp, I don't think Klopp would have thanked you for £500 million worth of money to spend. I genuinely don't think he ever wanted that.
No.
He will. If you sat in here with him and had a chat now, he would say he likes turning stones into diamonds. Yeah. And whereas if you want to go and position from strengthen from a position of strength, I think Slot does that. It's like fixing the roof when the sun's shining, isn't it? You don't need to, but you do it anyway. Yeah. So I think we're just different. I think we've got cover in all of those places, and it must be great as a manager to look at your squad and think, 2 out of the 3 games, you'd give them 6 out of 10, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
And the first half against Arsenal, you'd give it a 7 because of the defensive performance. And then in the second half, because I don't think in the first half against Arsenal we ever looked like we wanted to win that game. I don't actually think we had a drag shot by Gravenberch fairly sort of early on, and that was it. And then in the second half we came out with loads more intent, and that's what you surely want to see, and I want to see. We are absolutely a front foot side now, and if we go to Burnley and we play on the front foot, I think the quality is too much for them. I think they'll struggle. But they'll be okay with that because it'll be a party, and it's a game that that's not going to relegate them at the weekend, is it? So exactly. They can do all the things that they can't do 6 weeks before the end of the season. So it's not without its dangers, not at all. But I think we're plenty good enough to go and get 3 points out of that one.
Yeah, and I honestly I didn't care who we were playing. I just wanted Liverpool to be back in. Like I said earlier, three games in the season and you get an international break is just a killer, especially when you've got a perfect record. It's like you could say there's question marks over some of those victories in terms of performance, like out of 10s, like you said, 6 out of 10 or whatever. But to get it over the line in each of the games and then have a break. It's like, fuck no, it's the last thing you need, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, in terms of like 11s, there's so many options in there. Alisson's obviously, like, we've got, look at, like you said, the depth chart, and you could put 2 11s out there. And
do you change anything? Because I wouldn't.
I don't think I would. Like I said before, I was saying to Pete on the previous pod about, like, I would put Bradley in, but Szoboszlai again proved why he is one of the best players at the club. And I think as well, like, in terms of when early in the season in the Athletic Club games, and we had the 2 friendlies in one day, just like even just watching, like, up close, like Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, I thought in particular those 2 turned up with, like, a renewed, like, swagger, like renewed, like, I'm meant to be here, like, this is the season where I'm going to show, like, the true me for every single minute, every single game. And I think Nathan Gravenberch for the first 2 games, people started saying, oh, that midfield looks light, and then as soon as Gravenberch's back, you're like, that's what you're missing. If you're missing, like, a magic spark in there on a fella who's...
Do you think it was a genuine double pivot against Arsenal, whereas it wasn't previously? Because I kind of think I'm going down that way thinking.
I think so. I think, yeah. I mean, I think that'll probably help both. I mean, McAllister's not the quickest as in. Gravenberch likes to drop into those gaps. So I think, yeah, like you said, McAllister, it is good that we can put Szoboszlai over on the right, because then you get McAllister in those central areas where we want him. And he had a few injury problems and stuff, hasn't he, himself? So getting him back in the side ASAP is the goal, really, because we know he can create stuff from that, and he gets stuck in. He's got defensive sides, but he can also score 40-yard bangers as well, which we've seen. So, I mean, Will Giroy starting a slot. I mean, even getting people for the bench, I think it must be difficult to say to someone, oh, you can't make me bench, lad, sorry. Like, do you know what I mean? There's that many good players in there. It must be difficult.
Isn't Endo the personification of that squad player? In the sense that some players, we spoke about Minamino about this, and I'm sure I had that conversation with you when you came in when I was at Redmen, in the sense that you have to have squad players that look at it and go, right, I could go and play for Stuttgart in Germany, for instance, and I could play every week, but at the end of the season there's nothing to look forward to other than I've had a great season and I'm a professional footballer, and obviously that's a positive. This lad doesn't appear to go banging on the manager's door saying, I think I should play, and every time it's been put to him in pre-season that, do you see your future as somewhere else? Absolutely not, no. And he comes on, the foul on Guacares, the tactical foul when they were breaking, is why we have players like that. And I just think, to be able to manage that, you're right, to manage that process, to manage a squad of that size with that many class players in all those positions is a side to slot this season. We're going to see, maybe we didn't so much last year. But to go on, this is the best transfer window. I mean, I'm going to show my age now. I don't remember it as such, but it was apparent to me that Dalglish, Souness and Hansen had joined when my dad was talking about it when I was a little one. And like, wow, that's a tremendous transfer window, and history proves that it was. This window, in terms of, is unheralded. It's never been there before. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, especially when you see the people that have left, like obviously Nunes, Diaz, like Diaz especially. He was the like, he played left wing, played striker for us, done really well. It's at that point where he's at 29. It's probably it's the ruthlessness. I think we sort of, like I mentioned, like the Ipswich game, bringing off Quansah and bringing on Konate, we could all see that needed to happen. I don't think Klopp makes that decision at half-time. Arne Slot proved it in the first 45 minutes that he was willing to make those tough decisions and to be ruthless and to make, not going to make everyone happy, but he's going to make the right decision that he knows is the right decision. I think we saw that with, I think it was the second, people were saying online, in terms of the second year at Feyenoord, he'd done something similar where it was a big overturn in terms of squad changes and stuff, and we've seen it with us this season. And I get like I was a bit nervous as well, because when you have that much change, I think the reason why we did win the league last season, because there was not that much change. We brought in Chiesa, that was it. So it was that continuity. But the fact that we made this many changes, and obviously it's still early days, we haven't won anything yet, but to be 3 games in, three wins, and staring down the barrel like at Burnley, a good opportunity to make that 4, and then you've got Everton coming to Anfield the following week.
So much more to come. So much more to come. We don't know the ceiling of this team.
I know.
And might not see it this season because it might be something that grows over. You know, I think the Florian Wirtz thing, and lots of people will tell you, oh, you spent £116 million on him, and he's not even played 3 games of football. So let's give him a chance to you've seen enough little snippets to know that this is a special talent.
Yeah. And
when it starts knitting for him, and because with Leverkusen, he didn't play right up in the hole behind the striker. He went and got the ball wherever he wanted it, and then I watched them quite a lot because I love Xabi Alonso. Not so much now he's gone to Real Madrid, but I did love Xabi Alonso. I still do really. But I watched a lot of Leverkusen, and they just played the ball into spaces for players to run onto, and I think Slot was enamoured by that and enamoured by PSG, and I think we're trying to be. We can't be those sides because they've got different dynamics, but I think we're trying to be more fluid. Yeah. The transition is really important, and this is why I think Andy Robertson struggles, because when we go down the right hand side, he pulls everybody across. He wants to switch to the fullbacks, and the fullbacks launch the transition, and that Andy Robertson doesn't have that in his game. Sat on the edge of his box. He's not got a 40-yard line breaking pass into a front man who can give it, and third man running goes off him in his armoury. Yeah. And that's not a criticism of him. He's in the conversation of the greatest Liverpool left back of all time, and rightly so. But when managers come in and they change the dynamic, and it's Harvey Elliott, isn't it? We spoke about him. Systems make players, and the system we're doing doesn't make Andy Robertson, and it didn't make Harvey Elliott. Yeah. And that's not their fault. That's life. That's how football is, isn't it? So I'm really, really positive, mate, about the season. I think if we're sat here in a week's time, we were doing this in a week's time, we'd probably be talking about 4 out of 4, and they might be famous last words, and you lot might ruin me for saying that, but it should be, and it should be 12 points out of 12 available points, and then ups the ante for the Everton game. You know, they've got their tails up because Jack Grealish has gone in there and he's being the maverick again, and you can see, can't you, straight away the difference in the player from a systemic team to one that isn't that way.
Exactly.
So next couple of games are key for us, but absolutely loving what we're doing at the moment, mate, and I wouldn't make any changes for the team at the weekend. I'd send the lads out there. Bradley can't really be upset expecting to shift Szoboszlai off the back of 2 performances like that, really, can he?
Exactly. I mean, he's fresh back from injury and he's just getting himself back up to speed. So, like you said, these players are sat on the sidelines watching how good Liverpool are, so they can't be knocking on the manager's door going, by the way, I need to come in the side, because we're doing well. All right, Steve, well, we'll leave it there. Absolute pleasure to have you on. We shall get you back on again soon, because the first one of many. Hopefully. But yeah, that was episode 4 of Pod and a Pint, the Cop Out podcast. We'll be back next week, hopefully celebrating a nice little victory over Burnley. But yeah, nice one to Steve, nice one to everyone for watching or listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.